I'll drop that motherfucker.
Recorded from the heart of the Music City, Nashville, Tennessee.
What's his name? Fucking Shrek?
Hey man, every book is a children's book if the kid can read.
SoBros Network brings to you the SoBros Power Hour.
4 of us wolves running around the desert together in Las Vegas, looking for strippers and cocaine.
That's cute. I remember when I had my first beer.
Let the SoBrosNetwork.com team get you to your weekend faster.
I just don't know how to express myself sometimes when I need to be properly different.
This is the SoBros Power Hour podcast.
I'm going to Boobs.
Lord have mercy, I'm about to bust.
SoBros Nation, it is finally Friday. We are free again, getting our motors running for a wild weekend here on the SoBros Power Hour. Mind's right, ass is tight, as we got episode 119 on deck for you today. Of course, I am your host for the SoBros Power Hour, the EIC at SoBrosNetwork.com, Big Natural Stoney Keeley. You can follow me on Twitter at Stoney Keeley. Follow us collectively at SoBros Network on all major social media platforms. Joined this week by my usual co-host on the unofficial Titans podcast. He is Cinderella Man, One Take O, coming to us from the Dad Zone, outspoken Owen Reed. Owen, how you doing today, my man?
Hey, everybody. Hey, Stoney. We're finally there. It's Friday. I've got that Friday feeling. I've got that Friday fever. I'm feverishly feeling that Friday fun. Fuck, I couldn't think of another one.
That was some nice alliteration there. I dig it.
Hey.
You got any big plans for the weekend?
You know, I do have to work tomorrow, unfortunately. But I do believe Sunday, me and the lady are going to go to Nashville Pride.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. My wife's going to be down there volunteering tomorrow. I didn't know about it. She asked me if I wanted to volunteer last night, and I was like, well, you know, if you had told me when you did this, like a month ago when you signed up for this, yeah, I would be down there to volunteer. But I don't know. I mean, you guys know me. I don't spring last minute plans on me if I've already got something lined up. And I'm just like, no, it's too hot for that. You can't just spring that on me two days prior. So she's going to go at the behest of an organization that she is working for right now. And I'm going to sit at home and support from the sidelines. We've got a little neon rainbow light. I'm going to turn that on, and I'm going to sit and I'm going to watch college football tape, and I'm going to get this house cleaned. That's what I do. But that's about it. What are you there
for, folks?
That's all I got, man. I think it's going to be a nice, relaxing weekend. I haven't had one of those in a while, so.
You deserve it. Of all people, Sony, you deserve a calm weekend.
It was crazy there for a little bit, man. Our April was loaded up, and our May was loaded up, and now my wife got back from Italy a couple of weeks ago, and we haven't really had a whole lot on the calendar since then. So it's been nice to kind of catch my breath a little bit after that spring was crazy. But then I got my birthday coming up next Saturday. So I don't know, you know, that's all I got on the calendar right now, and it rules. I like living this way.
It's good not to overload yourself.
Yeah. So we got a lot to get to today, man, but I want to lead off with what I think is the biggest story this week, and it is the memes that are hitting social media. We've got Hawk Tuah Girl, and then Justin Timberlake's mugshot, and the subsequent "this is going to ruin the tour" memes that are coming out. That's all my feed is. Logging into anything this week, those are the only two things that I've seen. What are your thoughts on the memes this week, the quality of them, and can you remember a time when we had two epic memes going at the same time like this?
I mean, it's nice. It happens every once in a while. It's like a double rainbow. It's a full-on blessing from the internet. But yeah, I mean, it's big. It's also been all over my feed.
Yeah. I just love, I think the energy of Hawk Tuah Girl is what I appreciate the most, because it's not like, I don't know, you don't feel like dirty energy from it. You feel like genuine love and happiness radiating from that. And I'm just like, man, that's some salt of the earth shit right there.
No, I full-heartedly agree. It doesn't seem like something that she was practicing. It doesn't feel like an overused joke. I think it was just in the moment, she felt something and just had to let it out. And I appreciate it.
Did you realize that happened down on Broadway? That was in Nashville?
I mean, it makes the most sense. And it's honestly something to be proud of. Like, yeah, we have, getting drunk and shitty country covers, but we also have ingenuity at its finest.
That's right. That's right. I like to imagine the Justin Timberlake arrest just sounding so defeated, like this is going to ruin the tour. And then the guy arresting him didn't even know who he was, asks him what tour, and his response was the world tour. I don't know. That sounds, well, for one, it just sounds like something from like The Office, an exchange from one of these sitcoms or Parks and Rec or something like that. But two, man, I feel old that now we're seeing cops arrest Justin Timberlake that don't even know it's fucking Justin Timberlake, man.
Well, Stoney, there was a workaround with that.
Was there?
Excuse me. Yeah, for sure. You have to understand, there's different ways to talk to different generations. So, maybe Gen Z wouldn't pick up on NSYNC or, Justin Timberlake, Sexy Back, all that. But, however, if he'd have name dropped that he was Trolls, yeah. I think that might have resonated.
Maybe you're right. Maybe that would have been the move right there. I'm the guy from Trolls. I like it.
We're so sorry, Mr. Timberlake. We're going to get you home safely. We're waiting on Trolls 6.
Yeah. I don't think that it's been, maybe it's been at the same meme level as the other two this week, but it's been going on for a while. It's been a big meme narrative this entire spring. But Kendrick Lamar on his Juneteenth show playing his Drake diss track like 6 times in a row. I don't know, man. Like at what point does Drake just need to like hang things up? Like how do you come back from this?
Hopefully he doesn't. Drake's always been kind of weird and definitely pervy. Definitely doing some unsettling things. So I'm glad that Kendrick could come in and just, stick his boot in it and twist it a little bit. I'm here for it.
I saw someone post the meme of the, oh gosh, what was it? The elephant that showed up that killed somebody, the elephant that trampled somebody and then showed up to the funeral and trampled the corpse. And somebody just retweeted that headline with the quote, "This is Kendrick Lamar right now." And I was like, damn, that is what it is. But like, I don't know. I think you're onto something. Like, I think the general premise here, like, just don't be a super shitty person and then stuff like this won't happen to you. And I do kind of think, not to take this so seriously or anything like that, but, I do think that we need people like Kendrick Lamar that are going to just eviscerate these people that need eviscerating. So I'm kind of with you. I'm kind of here for it.
I think the other lesson is don't get into a rap battle with somebody that's won a Pulitzer Prize.
Yeah. Yeah, that's sage advice as well, I would say. Man, the Costco opened up out here in Mount Juliet. That's been a big deal. I've never seen anything like it. I wrote about my experience going there last Saturday. It's up on SoBrosNetwork.com. We were just kind of driving around Mount Juliet with our coffee on Saturday morning, and my wife was like, let's just go scope it out. And I knew in the back of my head that we're not just going to scope it out, but I said yes because I wanted to finish my coffee. We pull up to Costco. There's fucking 6 cop cars out there that are just like directing traffic and just patrolling the parking lot. There's like 50 people with buggies out front waiting to get in. The store hasn't even opened yet. And I'm just like, is this a cult? Why are these people standing out in this blistering June Tennessee heat when the Costco is not even open yet? So we just walk up, we ask a couple questions, end up getting memberships. My wife's just like, yep, no, let's just go in and scope it out. Okay, all right. So we get a few things, we leave, and it's just mind-blowing. We go back on Sunday, the cops are still out there. We're saying, like, you know what? If you wanted to commit a crime in Mount Juliet, now's the time to do it because all the cops are at the fucking Costco. I don't get it, Owen. I mean, I think Costco's pretty cool, I guess. I'm a fan of BJ's. We got a BJ's right down the road from us, too. But
who isn't a fan of BJ's?
Touche. But to have 6 cop cars out there and people lining up in the heat to get into Costco, I don't get the infatuation. Where do you stand on Costco? Are you a fan or what?
I love Costco, I guess exclusively for the food court, to be honest. I mean, $1.50 hot dog and drink combo, like they keep their prices fair and honest when it comes to that food court. You could eat good. It's a full hot dog. Fountain drink as many times as you can go back to it. So honestly, the rest of it's, kind of give and take. I don't really feel the need to buy in bulk because I live alone. So most of it would go to waste. But anytime I can get to Costco, I'm always going to hit that food court and I'm always going to get that hot dog.
See, I wanted to try the hot dog, but we were kind of limited on time because we both had some work to do that we had to get over to the library, find us a table to post up and knock out some work for a few hours. But I've always heard about the hot dog, but I've never had it. And I wanted to go try it, but it was like everything else, man. It's just so fucking crowded. There were like 20 people huddled around the concession stand. And there was a story a while ago that I do think was pretty funny where somebody suggested that they raise the price in a board meeting, raise the price of the hot dog, and the CEO or whoever, the director of the board or whoever it was, basically said, if you raise the price of that hot dog, I'll fucking kill you. And I thought, man, that's commitment to the bit right there. But maybe that's all it is. Maybe it is just the hot dogs are so good and you can also buy like 40 sponges in a pack if you need it. But I don't know. I mean, like I said, I like Costco. I'm not trying to hate on Costco, but what are we doing here, people? Where we've got 6 cops sitting out front. I don't know. That same day, Owen, my wife and I went over to Jason's Deli in Mount Juliet. We haven't talked a lot about Jason's Deli on the SoBros Power Hour. So I wanted to give them some shine. They've got like a $12 salad bar that, I mean, you can load up. You just get like plate after plate after plate. It's a good quality salad. The ice machine was broken, so I did have to drink some like warm sweet tea, which was, a little inconvenient, but I'm sure they're getting it fixed. And then you can get like a little cup or cone of ice cream on the way out the door. Man, it's a great value. But it brings up a question that I don't think we've talked about on the SoBros Power Hour before. But one, I mean, do we like buffets to begin with? I say yes. And if so, what do you think is the best buffet in Nashville?
Ooh, okay. So I do love a good buffet. Something that my dad passed down to me early on was that sometimes we're not going to have food. So if you see a lot of food, that's good. Take advantage of it.
Yeah.
So we equated a lot of food with this is good food. So usually we didn't care what it was. Golden Corral, Stoney's, Chinese. If it was a buffet, we were in heaven. We were, dining like kings.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And I think that's still instilled in me as an adult, just that anytime you see a buffet, it really doesn't matter to the quality of it. It's just that there's a lot.
I'm glad that you said Shoney's because that's what I was going to go with. I was going to go with the Shoney's breakfast buffet because
And
there's nothing that hits like it. I mean, all these years later, I've been going to the Shoney's Breakfast Buffet, and it was kind of the same deal when I was growing up. It was like Sunday morning, if we were on our way to visit my grandmother, like that was the thing that we looked forward to. It was kind of like, hey, this is a treat for us. We get to eat like as many plates as you want to, Stoney. I remember it, like go crazy. And I also, man, I don't know if you ever went to a Ryan's Steakhouse, but Ryan's to me was better quality than Golden Corral, though I did love fucking up a Golden Corral, man. I mean, just tearing it apart. When my dad was still with us, I would go help him at his paint and body shop, and it would be like, 100 degrees in a paint booth in the summertime. So you're working for like 4 or 5 hours, just sweat dripping off of you. You dry up, you cool off, you go to lunch, and you haven't even realized the ravenous appetite that you've worked up until you step foot into a Golden Corral, and it's just, the wild, wild west in there. You just get whatever you want. They have a million different dishes. I'm not kidding, Owen. I think there's been a time where I've eaten 6 plates at a Golden Corral. There's no doubt in my mind. 6 plates at a Golden Corral. I like it. But I always thought Ryan's Steakhouse had the better quality food. And that used to be like a Friday night treat for us too. When I was a kid, we would go out to Hermitage, because out here in Mount Juliet in the 90s, when I was growing up, there was nothing out here but a Waffle House, a Cracker Barrel, and a McDonald's, and a 2-lane road going all the way across town. Now there's a lot more options, but you had to drive to like Lebanon or Hermitage or somewhere like that. And we had a Ryan's Steakhouse out there, and man, that was such a treat. But I don't know, man. Like, it seems like COVID kind of had something to say about the popularity of buffets. I don't even really know of that many around town anymore that are like that outside of the Golden Corral. Do we count?
You still got like your Chinese buffets.
Yeah.
They're still doing, as good as they can. But yeah, I really think COVID killed off the buffet, which is kind of sad. Maybe we can, bring it back in time.
SoBros HQ, we're going to build out this compound that's going to have a podcast studio, offices for us. We're going to set up a shop so we can sell our merch. Maybe I can get rid of these million Funko Pops that I have. And then we're also going to have a buffet in it. And it's going to be like everything. Everything you could ever imagine. I like the vision. Man.
You put sherbet on a steak, teriyaki sauce on green bean casserole, whatever you want.
Yeah, let's make a buffet where the theme is our dishes we're actively going to try and make you puke.
They're not great, but there's a lot of it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, people line up to get into Dick's Last Resort where they just treat you like shit. That's the gimmick, brother. That's the gimmick.
I've never understood Dick's Last Resort. They will never get my business. I know there's an audience out there, obviously. They have places all over the place, but
yeah.
If I wanted to go somewhere where somebody's going to be mean to me, I don't know. I'd just go to regular McDonald's.
Yeah, go to Waffle House at 3:00 in the morning. I don't know though. You walk into a Waffle House at 3:00 in the morning, you're liable.
I was going to say maybe IHOP behavior, but Waffle House is a Waffle Home.
Definitely IHOP behavior. I've got a couple of IHOP stories where, like, after the second incident, I'd said I'm not going back to IHOP after 9 p.m. So, yeah, that's more of the consistent vibe. I don't know what it is, man. The psychology. Like, Waffle House, I feel like maybe 2 out of 10 times you go in the middle of the night, you might get looked at funny like somebody wants to bow up on you in the parking lot. But 8 times out of 10, the Waffle House in the middle of the night is just a party. Everybody's having a good time. They've been out drinking, feeling good, and everybody's getting along because Waffle House, it's like the safe space. What is the neutral zone in the war? Like, anything in the world could be going on outside, but if you walk through those doors, you're friends inside the Waffle House. And I would
Waffle House, their corporate has system set in place for if natural disasters come through that town, so that way the Waffle House can stay open throughout the event,
Man.
whether it be a tornado or hurricane. They'll fly in, or not fly in, but they'll bring in extra staff. They'll bring in bathrooms. They'll bring in off-site places to sleep. But, you have like FEMA and you have Waffle House are the two most prepared things for a natural disaster.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. So, yeah, but IHOP is a much more consistent bad experience in the middle of the night. And I think it's because you get, I don't know, like I feel like you have to be in a certain mindset to go to IHOP. Like you
get all the people that aren't allowed at Waffle House anymore.
Exactly. Yeah. You get the people that have been kicked out of the Waffle House. So, yeah. I don't know, Owen, about you, but I've been thinking about getting into Dungeons and Dragons. And I talked about this with Rooster after we did Phone It In this week. We did an episode on the Biltmore Estate. And if you listen to that, yes, as of this recording, Roxanne and I are still okay. The Biltmore people haven't hunted us down and executed us, though. I do anticipate that happening at some point. They're pretty tight-lipped about their operation. Parts of the facility that are heavily guarded. They used to tell the employees, like, don't entertain any ghost questions on tours and stuff like that. They don't want the word getting out. So we were talking after that. We're like, man, I told her, like, I kind of want to get a hobby to like satiate my mind wanting to hyperfixate on something, but not work so much. Like I want something that's going to keep my mind active, but I don't want to just work all the time. I'm trying to put my health into more of a focus this year. It's been a big priority of mine. So we brought up Dungeons and Dragons, but then we quickly realized that we probably don't want to like hang out with the crews that are usually playing Dungeons and Dragons, right? Like, it's not a knock on anybody, but I'm a big dumb meathead. I don't want, some theater kid judging me because I'm stumbling my way through learning this game. So then we talked about maybe starting a SoBros group with other people that haven't really played Dungeons and Dragons all that much. So I wanted to get your opinion on that. If you're willing to give it a shot, and maybe we can start a group, and what your thoughts are if you've ever played it before.
I'm absolutely down. I've never played before, but I've always been interested. But yeah, I understand where you're coming from. It can be intimidating trying to start off and learn the rules of someone's world when they're already pretty set in it.
Yeah.
So maybe this could be a safe beginner spot where we could just learn on the fly and not ruin anybody else's time with our buffoonery.
I'm with it, man. And second, I want to expand upon that because Sean chimed in with, my D&D name has stuck with me for years. So he's a player. My D&D name has stuck with me for years. Thankfully, it's a name no one has ever used. Man, there's an air of mystery there. Owen, do you know what Sean's D&D name is?
I think it's Flash is 4 stars.
What a sales job by Sean, though. Now, the intrigue, we have to start this group just so that we know what his name is. Be damned. Well, Owen, we do have some Nashville stories of the week to get through. Leading off, we're gonna check out our friends at WSMV Channel 4. The headline reads, "Man charged after allegedly stealing whiskey barrel from Bridgestone Arena in stolen skid steer." Police said the skid steer was taken from a construction site downtown and was used to remove the barrel from outside the arena. Okay, so a man was arrested after witnesses watched him take an expensive piece of equipment from a construction site in downtown Nashville and then use it to remove some decoration from outside Bridgestone Arena. Officers with the Metro Nashville Police Department were called to the Division Street Bridge early Tuesday morning and spoke with 47-year-old Donald Bilby, a witness, told officers that Bilby took a Kubota SVL 75-2 skid steer from a construction site on 8th Street North and drove it over to Bridgestone Arena, where he loaded a Jack Daniels barrel onto the machine and drove away. The general contractor at the construction site told officers that he entered the area by pulling down a fence before he drove off with the skid steer, the affidavit states. He told officers that he found the machine in the streets with the keys in it, and he assumed they wanted it moved. Oh, all time excuse right there. You know what? Who doesn't just see a vehicle in the street with the keys in the car and think, you know what? These people probably just want it moved. We've got this man miscast. This is a good Samaritan here. Anyway, the story continues. When the officers found him, he was unloading the large whiskey barrel with the Nashville Predators logo off the skid steer. They reported he was arrested and charged with felony burglary, vehicle theft, property theft, and vandalism. The skid steer is valued at $68,000, but the value of the damaged fence or the Jack Daniels barrel is unknown. What do we think about this story, Owen? This is quite the adventure this man went on.
Man, there's a lot to unpack. For starters, if people aren't familiar with what a skid steer is, you're going to commonly see them on construction sites, large construction sites, but it's got, the two sets of tracks on the tires, a big bucket to move. It's not a small piece of equipment.
No.
It's a large vehicle. It has keys in it, obviously, like you said. So I think he got off a little easy because I feel like this easily could have been a DUI.
Yeah. I mean,
there's no way you're doing this sober.
One would think. I mean, what's the compulsion here? Did he know? Was he just thinking he wanted one of these whiskey barrels so bad? Like maybe he's just a huge Preds fan, and maybe he just thinks that this is my chance to do it. I mean, I don't know.
Going to drive the skid steer home?
What's the motivation for this? Was it just a joyride?
There wasn't a lot of forethought.
If this was just a joyride, I think it's 100 times more terrifying, because what if he had just like hit a person or something? Why is he's going after the barrel, but why?
There's a whole lot of whys in this. I don't know. Why do you feel the need to jump into a skid steer? Do you think that the site manager the next day was like, "Hey fellas, from now on, we hold on to the keys when the site's closed"?
Yeah, that's a pretty big oops right there too. Like I kind of feel
and
like,
I mean, right next to Broadway.
Yeah, dude, you're asking for it. I mean, they really, like, we joke about this story, but it really is fortunate that nobody was seriously injured in this, because it could have gone south in a hurry, man. I don't know. I don't know. $68,000 in damages. They don't know what the Jack Daniels barrel is worth. I'm kind of with you. I kind of feel like you're getting off a little easy here, buddy. Should be thankful. Maybe there's some issues we don't know about.
He would have the ultimate living room piece.
He would, and he'd have a skid steer out back. Is there any landmark in this city that you love so much that you would be willing to hijack a skid steer, uproot it, and try to get it home before the authorities catch you? Is there anything you love that much?
Ooh, I might get that pink elephant with the sunglasses on in front of that used car lot on Charlotte.
Out in West Nashville?
Yeah. I think I'd try to steal that.
Man, my mother and I were just out that way, and I can't believe they turned the old muffler shop next to Bobby's Dairy Dip into a tavern. Have you been out there yet?
Twilight Tavern. I have. It's pretty good.
Man, I'm going to have to go check that out. But that used to be a muffler shop, and they had a little muffler man. They had a little like robot looking guy made out of mufflers. I don't know that I would have needed the skid steer for that, but I would have liked to have had that too. I was going to go with the naked statues off Demumbrian. I think that would, that little roundabout there, I think that would be pretty cool. I don't know if I could get them up with a skid steer, but I'd damn sure try. I mean, don't you think it'd be cool if like you came out to my house in Mount Juliet and we walked out on the back deck to enjoy a cold beverage, and I've just got the naked statues from the Demumbrian roundabout out in the backyard.
I think you're going to need a lot more than a skid steer. Those things are massive.
Maybe
You're
I
gonna
can
have
just
to steal a crane.
Yeah. I'm going to steal a crane, steal the Demumbrian statues, and then I'm going to steal the Shoney's next to the stadium and bring it out to Mount Juliet. So that's
Perfect.
my master plan. Courtesy of WKRN Channel 2, our next story is about George Kittle bringing tight end university back to Nashville for the 4th year. This story is, I already said, from Channel 2. He's one of the premier tight ends in football, and he now calls Nashville home. San Francisco's 49ers star George Kittle, on Tuesday, he hosted another year of tight end university on Vanderbilt's campus. This event was born 4 years ago, and it's become a can't miss for players at the position. Quote, "We were able to bring in legends of the game," said Kittle. "We were able to bring on top tight ends from every single team. My favorite thing is being able to do it here in Nashville. It's just really fun because, me and my wife moved here 6 years ago. We feel like we've kind of gotten in to be part of the community." I didn't realize he lived here now. I knew he had a place here, but I didn't realize this was like Kittle HQ. The story continues. Bringing in the community was big for Kittle and his wife, Claire, who partnered with Play Like a Girl to incorporate girls flag football with this year's event. The girls were able to learn from the pros at the camp. Quote, "The fact that Tennessee has made that a priority is giving all these girls and women an outlet to go out there and play such a fun game," Kittle said. "It's something that wasn't really a big thing for girls to do when I was a kid. The fact that there's more of an emphasis now is just so awesome because all the life lessons that you can learn from football really can go into your life on an everyday basis." So Tight End University held a concert at Brooklyn Bowl out there on Tuesday. All proceeds from the event were donated to charity. Man, this is just an awesome thing, an awesome event. I'm stoked to see Kittle kind of getting back involved in the Nashville community, or not back involved, but like keeping this thing going for 4 years now. I have also heard through the grapevine that Tight End University is also one hell of a party after hours, after, the summit is over and they've, honed their craft and worked on the nuance of playing the tight end position. It's a pretty fun time. So, Owen, I want to ask you, like, what are the odds? Will they just let any tight ends into Tight End University? Because I've played it in backyard football before. I don't know if you've played it before. What do you think it'll take for us to get in Tight End University?
I don't know. I think we're going to have to do a lot of work, Stoney. I think
Damn.
there's a lot of proving ourselves that we'd have to do. But, like, maybe the after party could be an option,
Yeah.
Kittle loves wrestling. We know wrestling. Who knows the local scene better than us?
I saw
George Kittle.
Yeah.
Come hang out with us. We'll watch wrestling. We'll go check out Tight End U.
Maybe we can get media credentials to cover the event.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to reach out
Now we're thinking.
I'm going to reach out to George Kittle's team and just be like, "Hey, do y'all offer media credentials? I played tight end in backyard football when I was a kid. I
have a tight end."
I like that. I don't know. This just sounds, can we start any universities too? Like, could we, if they're not going to let us into Tight End University, can we do like Titans Podcast University? And we'll just invite Titans podcasters out and we'll just do the same thing. We can teach little kids how to podcast.
We'll do the same thing that they do at Tight End University. We'll make them all run drills and routes. And
Yeah. There has been talk of a Titans media combine or something like that. Like we've been talking about, like, we need to get some of the Titans media out there to training camp to see if they can take on Bill Callahan's blocking sleds, like the offensive line. I think that would make for some funny content. But yes, we'll do that at our Titans Podcast University. I don't know. But I was going to say something. Oh, yeah, there was a headline. Travis Kelce's in town for this event, and he went and hung out at Morgan Wallen's bar or something like that. Like, I don't know. It just seems like a pretty happening event that outside of the Brooklyn Bowl event. Like we're all getting the FOMO on it, you know? Also, I saw George Kittle at a Southern Underground Pro show. This has probably had to have been like it's probably 6 years ago, actually. And I didn't know who he was at the time. But I guess he was teammates with Manders, who is a wrestler on the indie scene. And he was working a show here at the Basement East. And here comes this big sumbitch walking through the front door. And I'm like, I don't recognize this guy. And at the time, like, I knew the scene pretty well. And I'm like, he looks like a wrestler, but I don't know which wrestler this guy is. And then after the event, I find out, oh, George Kittle was at the show. He's buddies with Manders. They were old teammates, so he wanted to come scope it out. Maybe that's what it was that made George Kittle fall in love with Nashville. I don't know.
I'm here for it either way. I'm glad Tight End U's still going on. Seems like a fun thing for all these big athletes to do. It's good for everybody to come together, share camaraderie. Good for Nashville. I like it.
Well, this comes to us courtesy of the Nash Today newsletter. It's about the new Donelson Library. Nearly 6 decades after the original location's debut, the new Donelson Library branch on 2714 Old Lebanon Pike will welcome visitors starting Monday, June 24th. And if you ask us, it's worth checking out. So there's a whole lot of stuff going on. They are doing a ribbon cutting ceremony on June 24th. There's going to be a puppet truck there doing Aesop's Fables, Afro-Latin drums and dance, story time with the Nashville Symphony, Nashville Irish step dancers. You can make cookies in the mobile kitchen, Starry Night story time all day. Like this, we're starting at 9:30 a.m. We're going until 6 p.m. at night. Donelson's going to host community events and classes. Beyond the grand opening, the library's calendar is filling up with animal-themed programs, food classes for teens, and a bubble blast foam party August the 3rd. So there are a couple of photos in the newsletter of the new library branch, and it looks awesome, man. But in addition to talking about the library, I thought this would give us a fun chance to kind of talk about Donelson, because it's a part of town that I don't think we talk about enough here on the SoBros Power Hour. It's out near my neck of the woods. Whenever we get tired of the Mount Juliet rotation, we usually head to Donelson because they got Nectar out there, Tenfold's out there. There's an Edley's out there, McNamara's, Rick's Comic City is out there. All kinds of fun stuff. Donelson is starting to hop off. But what do you think about the neighborhood, Owen? Do you ever spend much time in Donelson?
Can't say that I do, but I mean, that event sounds fun. Sometimes I like puppets, but if they're too human, they scare the shit out of me.
What do you think about a SoBros bubble blast foam party?
I don't know. It sounds dirty. It sounds like there's definitely potential for injury.
Yeah.
I don't know. The idea of a foam party kind of scares me.
Yeah. I wrote a story quite a while ago about Donelson and how the area is kind of sprucing up a little bit. And it really does kind of have like a little bit of East Nashville vibe to it. It's obviously, I think it's a little more affordable, but you are starting to see some of the trendy spots in town come out there. There's starting to be a lot more things to do over there. I don't know. It's kind of taken a little longer than I thought it would when I wrote that story. I was thinking like, 5 years time, this is going to be like the next East Nashville, and we're still not there yet. But I would encourage our listeners, like, yes, the Donelson Library gives us an excuse to talk about the neighborhood, but talking about the neighborhood in general, I think it's a reminder, like, hey, you can spend a pretty good afternoon out in Donelson, Tennessee. I saw a note, Owen, that came across my inbox from the Basement East, because I get their little newsletter. September 24th, Mason Ramsey is going to be playing the Basement East, and I cannot stand Mason Ramsey. I want to give the guy another chance, because he's grown up. He's doing like real country music now. Well, I don't want to say real country music. I just mean he's not fucking singing in a Walmart and going viral anymore. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, but what drives me nuts about Mason Ramsey is that he is known as the yodeling Walmart kid. And I just want to say, for the record, singing like Hank Williams is not yodeling. Yodeling is a different thing. Yodeling is the, yodel-hee-hoo. That's not what he was doing. He was just singing. And all this time later, Owen, we still know him as the Walmart yodeling kid. It gets under my skin. So I'm trying to be a better person and move past that and give Mason Ramsey his due. And I'm letting everybody that listens to this podcast know he's going to be playing the Basement East on September 24th, 2024. If you want to try and give him a second chance as well, go for it. Where do you stand on the former viral sensation, the Walmart yodeling kid, Mason Ramsey?
Stoney, I'm going to be honest. I've heard you talk with less passion about Titans' losses than you just talked about Mason Ramsey right then. I like the Walmart yodeling kid. I thought it was cute. He was a skinny little kid singing Hank Williams. They got him to go to Walmart tours. I thought it was fun. All I want to do. That is yodeling. Country yodeling. It's different. It's not always in the Swiss Alps doing a Ricola commercial.
But he's singing. He's singing words. He's singing words.
Right. That's part of yodeling.
I don't think so.
I'm going to have to disagree with you. I hadn't kept up with his career much. I don't think he's doing the same kind of thing.
No,
he
he's
was
not.
at CMA Fest, so he must be doing decent enough. You can't just hang your laurels on one viral video this long. So I don't know if Mason. I was about to say Mason Ramsey. Mason Rudolph's your scene. Go for it. No, it is Mason Ramsey. Mason Rudolph's our backup.
I'll watch Mason Rudolph yodel.
I'll watch that all day.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how I would feel about that. Like, imagine, I don't know what the equivalent would be for us, but to be that age and to be known for that thing, I don't know how I would feel about it. I mean, props to him for kind of hanging in there and getting through it. And, you see like his socials and stuff, like he's growing up and he just like kind of separated from all the viral videos and stuff. But I don't know how I would feel about that if I was just known as like the yodeling Walmart kid. I don't know. I don't want to take this conversation to a deeper place than it needs to go. Reflecting on life. We'll move on. We'll agree to disagree. Actually, I think you might be right because I'm looking up the official definition of yodeling, and it doesn't say anything about yodeling just being sounds, like just making noises. It just says singing in general, a form of singing, which involves repeated and rapid changes of pitch between the low-pitch chest register and the high-pitch head register or falsetto. So the rules of yodeling, I might be enforcing rules that don't exist.
Well, we've all learned something today.
Yeah. So you might be right on that. It might actually be yodeling. And I've been wrong for the last like 10 years or whatever that this kid's been viral. And I've held a grudge.
I feel like the
against
only
it.
way you can make it up now is by going to see, Mason Ramsey in concert at the Basement East.
We should go. I'm going to see, maybe I'll reach out to his team. Excuse me. Maybe I'll reach out to the Basement East and be like, hey, do y'all offer media credentials for Mason Ramsey concerts? We'll see. I don't know. Last Nashville story of the week. Well, this isn't a Nashville story of the week. This is a question I wanted to pose to you, Owen, because I asked Ryan about it a couple of power hours ago when I think it was Do 615. One of the newsletters, the Nashville newsletters, posted their list. It might have been the Nashville Scene. Their list of like the best hot dogs in Nashville, and it sparked a debate. I don't know about you, but I love a good hot dog. I'm a big fan of Daddy's Dogs. I think they're all over Nashville for a reason, and it's because the quality is unparalleled, and the creativity with that menu is unparalleled. It's a hell of a spot to go. But I wanted to give you the opportunity, since it is glizzy season, it is the summertime. Do you have a favorite hot dog in Nashville?
Well, Stoney, I'm glad you asked because my girlfriend's favorite food in, out of all the foods is hot dogs. So
How about that? I love it.
as, we've been together for about 6 months, I've grown to appreciate hot dogs more. I got to say that my favorite spot is I Dream of Weenie in East Nashville.
Okay.
They got a really nice, she's just a plain ketchup on a hot dog girl. She likes the classic. But I like to venture out a little bit. And they got a really nice one with some chow chow on it and jalapenos. It'll spice you out. But yeah, I Dream of Weenie is my favorite.
Man, I haven't been out there yet, but it pops up on all the Nashville lists. So I'm gonna have to make it out there. We need to do.
Well, and they just moved into a brick and mortar now. They used to be just a trailer, but now they have an official brick and mortar building.
Man, I this kind of feels like as much as hot dogs have come up lately, it kind of feels like we're due for like a definitive SoBros Power rankings of hot dogs in Nashville.
I'm here for it.
Are you up for the task? Like, can we do this at some point?
I think so. We got to do a lot of research, but it's research I'm willing to do.
There we go. That's how stuff's planned around here in real time. All right, we're going to expand our scope and look at stories around the world, around the country, I think. I don't think we're going international this week. This comes to us courtesy of Coco News 5. I guess this is, I don't know where these folks are based because everything is just aggregated these days, and you never really know. The headline reads, an Oklahoma man who claimed his friend tried to get Bigfoot to eat him was sentenced to life in prison. Ooh, boy. All right, so this is in Oklahoma. A man who admitted to killing his friend and blaming it on the fear of being eaten by Bigfoot during a 2022 noodling trip was sentenced in the slaying Tuesday. Oh, man. I hate to laugh at that, but a noodling trip gone wrong. According to KX2, which is the local news agency there, the guy told authorities that his buddy had summoned Bigfoot to attack and kill him, reportedly telling the county sheriff that he was in danger of being eaten by Bigfoot. Testified strange things happening the day of the killing and claimed to see a 12-foot tall Bigfoot downstream, then heard his buddy howl into a drainage pipe. He said he began to feel suspicious and thought he was going to drown him and feed him to Bigfoot. This guy was also convicted of first-degree murder in April, sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Man, can you imagine, Owen? All these decades we've been talking about Bigfoot, and it's a noodling trip gone wrong between two buddies that finally gets him caught. Could you imagine? You know how pissed I would be if I was Bigfoot and that's the incident that got me discovered?
Well, my whole thing about Bigfoot is, like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but he seems to be pretty docile.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to be seen. He just wants to eat beef jerky and be left alone. So if you want to pin a murder on somebody, you got to think of somebody better than Bigfoot. Bigfoot's not going to do it.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know what goes on through someone's head in those moments, but to look up and see a 12-foot tall Bigfoot and then your gut reaction is, man, my buddy's going to try and kill me and feed me to him. Do we have any evidence that Bigfoot's out there, like, eating people?
No. I feel like that guy is either taking too much or not enough of something.
I don't want to pass judgment here, Owen, but I don't think I believe this story.
You don't think so? I think I'm with you. I'm pretty skeptical.
I don't think that's what happened here in Oklahoma.
Until we can get Bigfoot to testify.
Yeah, until we can get Bigfoot on camera testifying. Also, have you ever been noodling before?
No, noodling scares me.
Me too.
Because, like, I've seen the videos where, like, yeah, you can catch a catfish and it's nice and easy, but there's also, like, big old snapping turtles and stuff like that could just rip you apart. If I go fishing, I'd just rather do it the old natural way with a pole.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I don't like stuff in the ocean or in the water that I can't see anyway. Like there's a pretty helpless feeling there. If you're like in deep and you're in the environment of an apex predator that you can't get away from, that's pretty terrifying to me. And while you're not in deep in these creeks and rivers where you go noodling, like you're still sticking your arm down a hole in the ground that you don't really know for sure what's in there. And you don't know what's going on. Yeah, I'm all out on noodling, but I say all of that to say this. I do think if you're the type of person to go noodling, I would put odds on you could list like 5 activities, and if noodling was on the list, I would say yes, the person noodling is probably the one that saw Bigfoot and strangled his friend out of fear. I think you gotta be of a certain mindset to go noodling. That's all. That's all. Our next story, this headline: George Santos announces OnlyFans account to stir the pot. The moment you've all been waiting for. I'm sorry, Owen. I know this is a highly detrimental thing to our society and our political process. But the fact that this completely unserious person who just made up shit left and right was elected for anything is objectively funny. Like this is comedy in real life. And I know that people are going to be very serious about that, and they're going to say, Stoney, this is, horrible. We have people like this that are elected officials now. But listen, he got booted out. They're not letting him into politics anymore. He's out doing his own thing. He's doing these wild cameos where he's saying practically anything. And it's nuts. It's just completely unhinged behavior. And as a pure spectator on the internet, as a fan of memes, I can appreciate the brevity of the situation while also saying this is objectively funny. This is objectively funny that this is a real person that exists in real life. He did say, like, it's the old bait and switch. Like, he's not doing any dirty stuff on OnlyFans. He's only going to highlight wholesome content, which, I don't know. We'll see how desperate he gets for the fame and the fortune. Like, maybe he's just wired a certain way, and it eventually gets to a point where he's going to be sticking his dick in stuff on camera, on the internet. I don't know. But I say all this, and I bring this story up, Owen, to ask you once again. I am imploring people: who is the messiest bitch you know, and why is it always a man?
Oh, what a great question. I don't know. The messiest bitch I know? That's tough. I feel like I got to look at the man in the mirror on this one. I feel like I'm a hot mess sometimes. I hadn't lied to get into Congress, but, your boy has his faults. He's damn near a caveman sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, man. I just, like, does George Santos not feel like a character from, like, an SNL skit to you? Like, how is this? This is the most unserious person. Well, I don't want to say that because I feel like we can go pretty deep with some unserious people right now, but like the state of American politics for this guy to even be possible, it's just crazy to me.
It's weird that the landscape has gotten as wild as it has, and even so, there's still an outlier that they're like, no, even this has gone too far. George Santos, you have to leave. Sashay away.
Yeah, and the logical next step is OnlyFans. That's what happens if I lose my job. If they kick me out of my day job and I've got to make some money, I guess I'll start an OnlyFans. I guess so. That's just what we have to do these days. So we are. How about this? I think we're gonna time this pretty nicely to get to an hour, but not cut anything from the story. All right. 580,000 glass coffee mugs recalled because they can break when filled with hot liquid. Oh, man. Tough scene right here. This comes to us from New York, courtesy of ABC News. Some 580,000 glass coffee mugs are being recalled across the U.S. after dozens of burn and laceration injuries were reported by consumers. According to a notice from the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission, the now recalled Joy Jolt branded Declan single-wall glass coffee mugs can crack or break when filled with hot liquid. To date, there have been 103 incidents of these glasses breaking at the base, resulting in 56 injuries. That includes 35 reports of burns across the body from spilled hot liquids and 21 cuts, with 7 requiring medical attention like surgery and stitches. Man, if your shit breaks and I spill hot ass coffee that burns my dick and balls, I'm coming for you, man. Like, we will go to court over that. We used to laugh at the woman that tried to sue McDonald's because she burned her lips on her coffee or whatever. But I'm telling you, if that happens to me, I'm going to be pissed. But I can't imagine, man. This is like an all-time tough scene. Can you imagine, Owen, making over $500,000 of anything only to find out that they can't do the specific thing they were designed to do?
Yeah, like how did they not get into like research and development and go, okay, well, obviously this doesn't work. It immediately went into production. They're like, fuck it, it's a cup. They'll figure it out.
It's almost like they didn't pour hot liquid into their cup that was designed to contain hot liquid.
Yeah, that's a big misstep. I think one that everyone would have the foresight to see coming, but apparently they didn't. And our hearts just go out to every victim with burnt lap and stitches.
Yeah.
Thoughts and prayers. We're just hoping you get better. But
of course.
Yeah,
of course.
They really goofed that one up.
What's your stance on glass coffee mugs? Because I do think they're pretty fucking cool, but now, golly, man, we're getting old, or I'm getting old, and I'm like, oh, let's talk about glass coffee mugs on this podcast and how cool they are. I make no apologies for my affinity for glass coffee mugs, but this is going to turn into like an urban legend situation where now I'm going to pick up my glass coffee mug and I'm going to be like, oh, I don't know. Is this thing going to break on me? Am I going to have to go get stitches? Oh, shit. I don't know. What's your stance on glass coffee mugs?
To be honest, I rarely, if ever, use glass coffee mugs. I think I'm more of a ceramic guy, or, I apologize to Mother Earth, but I also like a good styrofoam cup.
Yeah.
So those two are pretty tested and pretty safe. They stood by me this far, and I think I'm going to stick with them.
All right. I think the environmentalists are going to come for you after listening to this podcast, but
my bad, y'all. I'm sorry. I won't do better in the future, but I'm kind of sorry.
You're at least aware of it, and that counts for something, right?
No.
Fair enough. All right, our last story that I want to get to this week. This is a headline I read from the New York Post. It just says, "Boobs are back. Sales for the secret bra beloved by Sydney Sweeney, Scarlett Johansson for killer cleavage surge." They out there. We can't get enough of boobs, specifically Sydney Sweeney's boobs, for some reason. Everybody's talking about Sydney Sweeney's boobs, and now they're going out and buying the bra for it. But Owen, I just like general sentiment. What do you think it says about our society now that boobs are back?
When did boobs go out of style?
I don't know.
When was anybody like, ew, put that away?
Well, according to the New York Post.
Well, they're never wrong. But I don't know. I mean, I'm happy that there's a bra that is good for boobs. I'm pro boob. I like boobs. I think that they should be supported.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think they ever went out of style. I think this is big media trying to get at you again.
Yeah. I thought about buying one. I got sucked up into the craze. Sometimes I need a little support. I'm 284 pounds. I want to look like Sydney Sweeney. Maybe if I just buy the bra, I can get there too. Maybe then I can become a modern American sex symbol. I don't know. I'm just happy I'm just happy that people are saying it out loud now. You know what? Like boobs are back. Boobs are awesome. I don't know. I think it's
for too long people were too scared. Nobody said anything good about boobs for a long time, but now we're back, baby.
I think what we need to do is we need to officially squash white boy summer, and I think we just need to make it boob summer.
Boob year.
Boob year. Yeah. All right. Well, that's going to do it for the SoBros Power Hour this week. It does bring us to our closing icebreaker, Owen. It's the summertime. It's been sweltering hot outside this week. I want to ask you, what's your favorite way to beat the heat?
Great question. I'm going to go with my go-to for a lot of things, which is go to the movie theater. You know, there's nothing like it just being blazing hot, and then you go inside to a movie theater where it's always, you know, the thermostat's on 55. You know, you can bring a blanket if you want to, and then maybe by the time the movie's over, the sun's gone down, you can go back on your normal activities. But yeah, I feel like the movie theater is the perfect oasis for a hot summer day.
Yep, I like the energy. I was going to say just don't leave the house. Just do not leave the house for any reason whatsoever, and you will beat the heat. You will be just fine. That's going to do it for us on the SoBros Power Hour. He is Cinderella Man, 1take0, outspoken Owen Reed. You can't find him on social media, but you can find me at Stoney Keeley on Twitter, at SoBros Network on all major social media platforms. Rate, review, subscribe to the SoBros Power Hour wherever you take in your shows. We are out there in these internet streets, baby. We ain't too hard to find. All of our work is up at SoBrosNetwork.com. We got some merch at SoBrosShop.com. You can sign up $5 a month for premium SoBros content through the SoBros Substack at StackingTheInbox.com. In addition to Zach Lyon's extensive coverage of the Tennessee Titans, my extensive coverage of the Tennessee Titans, and our collective extensive coverage of the NFL Draft. That's going to do it for us this week. We'll be back again next week for another SoBros Power Hour. For outspoken Owen Reed, I am Big Natural Stoney Keeley, and until next time, you stay classy, Nashville.